we have any more guys and girls around here? Oh, look at this one running to get back into the steel-cut oatmeal forest.
Mealworm races.
Seeking the
I've had these critters before. I know that they are mealworms, however, I do not like them. I had them my first year in my classroom, and we never even watched them get to the adult stage because it was the end of the year and I was disgusted by them. But here's Walter. I know that Walter's in the larva stage and he will soon turn into a pupa where he'll get very, very still. This is Walter and his friends. I started with about 8 mealworms, and 10 days after receiving them, they look like they're dead. They're very still. But you can see that there is at least one pupa in this picture. I was not happy the first morning I woke up and saw a beetle in the container. I was actually surprised that it was white, but since then they have turned a darker brown and they continue to get darker every single day.
Oh, there they are. They seem to get darker. I think this one on the far left is the oldest, and the second oldest, and then the youngest. Oh, there's another one in there. Nope, next to the left one.
I thought the pupa stage was boring, but the beetles are basically doing nothing. I yelled at them today for being the most boring pets in the world. I really wish we got puppies instead. Now that there are beetles, I have lots of questions. Normally I would do a quick Wikipedia search to find the answers, but I'm banned from that. So I'm hating waiting to be patient before having all those answers. For the first investigation, I noticed that there's always skin left whenever I've left a piece of fruit in the container for long. So I want to know, do the critters prefer eating the skin or do they eat just the flesh of the fruit? To test this, I left a grape in the container for a few days, and then I cut the grape in half and left it in the container for a few days. And it seems that the critters would always go for the fruit that was cut because it seemed to be easier for them to eat. In my second investigation, I wanted to see what type of food the critters prefer. I want to test apples and potatoes, and I'm adding grapes because that's what I have in my refrigerator.
I have an apple and a potato here. Well, I don't really seem to be eating either one.
I've had both potatoes, apples, and grapes in with the mealworms, and they seem to attack the grapes whenever I put them in. It's the circle of life. This picture was captured after I had already spotted some mealworms, which means that these beetles mate several times throughout their life. I think that there is 1 male and 2 females, and so I should have a bunch of mealworms soon. I was really hoping that I would be able to see an egg. However, thinking about it, the egg must be too microscopic to be seen.
Today is August 21st, and I thought that they were being pretty boring, which they are right now, but I moved the apple this morning and I saw a mealworm, but now I've lost it. So we're gonna see if we can find. Okay, I think I finally found one. One thing that surprised me was how small they were. I can zoom in. So it is very skinny, very small, and that surprised me. I've only ever seen mealworms that were about to be pupa, I suppose. I've never seen them hatch from an egg and now it's burrowed.
With the discovery of these new mealworms, I know that soon I will have a batch of mealworms and pupa, and we'll start the cycle all over again. After this assignment, I was able to answer most of my questions. I never did see an egg, so I don't know what they look like. After the beetles shed their shell, it seems they just leave them alone and the shell decomposed within the oatmeal. It took about 6 weeks for the darkling beetles to produce any mealworms that I was able to see, so they must begin reproducing soon after hatching. I'm not sure how many eggs they lay with each batch, but I would assume it'd be 10 to 20. I say this because there were 3 different sizes of mealworms at the end of the investigation with about 10 to 20 per each size. And I don't know how many sets of eggs the female will lay in their lifetime because 2 of my beetles died, which means there's 1 lone beetle left and he has nobody to make babies with.